Let's see what happens if we ask ChatGPT about today's speaker. I'll put that in there as the prompt. In the field of technology, who is Stephen Cobb? And the response is actually accurate. He's a distinguished cybersecurity expert and public interest technologist. This stuff's right. I was born in Coventry, England. That's where I am today. In 1952, that's true. And I hold dual UK and US citizenship. All right, so that's cool. So, but it does provide quite a bit more information. And I'm not expecting you to read all of this. And it says, I investigated the social impacts of cybersecurity threats and coined terms like jackware and siegeware to describe emerging risks. Okay, so let's take a look first of all. What is this jackware? And that's correct, what it says there. And it said that last week when I asked it. So jackware is malicious software that seeks to take control of a device, the primary purpose of which, the device, is not data processing or communications. So a car is a good example. A lot of cars have a lot of data processing and communication capability now. They're not meant for data processing and communication. They're meant for getting you from A to B. But somebody's hijacking that, and that's jackware. And so we have a little illustration of that. And this is from one of the Fast and Furious movies. This is from the 8th one in the series, Fate of the Furious. So we call it F8. And we start out here, we're in a car. And here we are in a car showroom. And there's a nice Jeep, remotely activated, and there we go. Back in 2023, when ChatGPT was getting very popular, people were talking about it, and some people were saying it made mistakes. I said, okay, I'll check. And I asked who coined the term jackware. And this is what it said. Jackware was coined by two researchers, Stefan Savage and Tadayoshi Kono, in a 2016 paper titled Experimental Security Analysis of a Modern Automobile, which sounds very plausible. Stefan Savage is a well-known network security academic. He's in the University of San Diego, and I used to live in San Diego. I've met with him, been to several events with him. His team did some of the pioneering work on car hacking in 2010, and jackware was coined in 2016. That paper came out in 2010. Jackware was coined in 2016. That paper makes no mention of jackware. So it's confused. You'll notice this most obviously in AI responses when you ask for references and citations. They will sometimes be jumbled up from bits and pieces. And there it is in 2016, I wrote about it, and that was the first time somebody had used jackware in that context. Right, so I wrote an article about that, and I actually said to ChatGPT, hey, you've got that wrong. It was Stephen Cobb. And it said, oh, yeah, you're right. It's Stephen Cobb. Okay, so 2023, it said that. So then in 24, I checked again. I asked the same question, and it said it was Mikko Hyppönen. You may know Mikko Hyppönen if you've been in antivirus circles. He was one of the founders of F-Secure in Finland, and I know Mikko. So no, it wasn't him. So I asked ChatGPT, that was last year, have you heard of this guy, Stephen Cobb? Did you know that he termed the term? Oh, yes, Stephen Cobb, he's a well-known expert. He indeed, the phrasing's hilarious. He indeed coined the term jackware. He introduced this term, blah, 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 about turning devices into zombies. By the way, Charlize Theron in the movie, that was 2017. Anyway, right. Again, this is not for reading, but this is 6 different AIs, ChatGPT, Claude, Copilot, DeepSeek, Gemini, and Grok. And last week, at the same time, I asked all of them the same question in the context of cybersecurity. What is the name of the person who coined the term jackware? And these are the results. ChatGPT's gone back to thinking it was Mikko. Claude agrees that it's Mikko. He's widely cited as the source. Microsoft Copilot, it's quite interesting. It says, hard to say, really. Apparently it is hard to say. DeepSeek, the Chinese artificial intelligence, came up with Mark Rogers. I don't know Mark, but he is a cybersecurity person, as is Adam Kujara. Gemini said that it was him. Only Grok got it right. And that's possibly because I used to be a big user of Twitter and then it changed to X, but all my content on Twitter, I'm sure, is being digested by Grok. So what you got here, though, it's kind of funny. I'm not just doing this to keep talking about Stephen Cobb, but imagine you're trying to identify a person in an investigation. You want to find out about people, and you say, I mean, classic detective story is, the more we can learn about the victim or the more we can learn about the perpetrator, the closer we'll get to solving the case. Well, if you ask ChatGPT, you're not necessarily going to get an accurate answer. And this reveals what's going on with this type of artificial intelligence. I did get an apology from Claude because I told it. It wasn't Miko, it was me. Oh, you're absolutely right. And I apologize for my error. The second paragraph is quite interesting. It says, thank you for the correction. It's important to attribute the concept accurately, especially in the cybersecurity field where proper recognition of contributions matters. I think it matters in most fields, but anyway, I appreciate you setting the record straight on this terminology's origin. So if you want to do something fun for homework or a project that'll take like all of 10 seconds, you can go and ask Claude today if it still thinks it was Stephen Cobb. If you just say, who coined the term jackware in the context of cybersecurity?